Hey there, Jason with Champion Fitness Training, and today we're going to go through a little segment that's involving active and static flexibility with the use of the TRX suspension trainer. Any of you that have watched or read my column with regularity will know that I'm a big fan of the TRX, and I try to stress the importance of flexibility. So we're going to kind of combine the two. For those of you that don't like the traditional approach to stretching, this is actually a great piece of equipment to use for that, to not only improve flexibility, but also add more mobility and just improve overall day-to-day function of your daily living. So without further ado, we're going to go through 5 stretches. These are my favorite, and these will give you the most bang for the buck. So here we go. Okay, so stretch number 1 that we're going to go through here, and this is going to be an active component to start, and then we're going to finish with a static hold at the end. And what we're going to do is we're going to stretch our hip, particularly our hip flexor. It's going to get a stretch of the abdominal, and it's also going to get a stretch of the chest and the shoulder. So what we're going to do is starting position is the elbows into the side. I've got the foot cradles here. You can also grab by the handles. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a step forward and descend, like almost as if we're going into a lunge, and then we're going to feel a little bit of a pull and a stretch on that back leg there. I'm actively straightening that back leg to get a stretch of the hip flexor, and then I'm actively leaning into the stretch, which is going to give me, a stretch through the abs, and it's also going to give me a stretch through the chest. Then also this stretch, we want to make sure we're looking up so we're not putting stress on our neck. This would be more of the static hold, but for the active component, what we would do is we would step out, descend into that stretch till we feel it, hold for about a 1 to 2 second period, and then we're going to bring it back down, and we're going to repeat for 6 repetitions and then finish it off with that hold at the end. So we're kind of getting a little bit more of an active component, stretching everything out, getting improved mobility with that, and then getting that little extra push at the end with that. And that's how we're going to approach all the stretches going forward. Same basic setup with stretch number 2. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to take our arms straight out to the side. This is just going to be a chest stretch only. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk, keeping our feet together until we start to feel a little bit of a stretch, slight tension against that TRX. Once we feel that, then we're just going to add a little bit of a forward lean, using just a little bit of momentum to get a little extra stretch, and we're just going to go back and forth in a nice controlled motion. You don't want to be fast or forceful with it. Reduce risk of injury that way. It would be nice and easy, staying within your range of motion. Once you get to about 10, from there you're going to hold and finish with a static stretch for about 30 to 60 seconds. Okay, so our third stretch, same setup as the first 2. We have our back facing the anchor point here. Elbows are tucked into the side. What we're going to do is we're going to walk out, keeping our feet together till we have a little bit of tension against that TRX, and then we're going to actively reach up, adjust our position till we feel that tension again with the TRX, and then kick our hips out to the side, actively reaching, making sure our arm's not bent, but we're reaching. That way we're getting a lat stretch, and then we're intensifying the stretch in here through the obliques. With that active component, of course, we're going to go about a 2-second hold with that. Go for 6 to 10 repetitions, and then bring it into that static hold at the end for 30 to 60 seconds before switching sides. Stretch number 3, same setup as the first 2. Elbows are down at the side. Our feet are together. This is a side bending stretch. This is specifically going to target our lats and our obliques. And what we're going to do is you're going to actively reach up with one side. We want to make sure we're far enough away from the anchor point so we get a little bit of pull against that. And as we're reaching, we are bending and pushing our hips to the same side as the arm that is elevated. So our left arm's up. We're pushing our left side of our body and our hip away from our body, and then we would bring it back down, just like that. Okay, so for our last 2 stretches, we're going to be actually facing the anchor point. This first one is a stretch for our hip, our back, and our hamstring. It's a rotational component to this, so what we're going to do is we're going to slight bend in the knee and then shift our weight back in our heels, keeping our upper body straight. So we're square to the anchor point to start, and then what we're going to do is we're going to straighten our left leg. And as we straighten that left leg, we're going to get that little bit of hamstring stretch there. And then from there, we're going to rotate towards that side, and that's going to add in more of that low back stretch. And it's also going to get that hip involved too. And then we bring it back to center, and then we alternate to the opposite side, going back and forth, almost like if you're doing a pedaling motion back and forth with your legs. You want to take this one slow at first so you can kind of get a good feel for it. Once you get 6 to 10 per side, then you will do the static hold. Say on our left side to start, 30 seconds, and then take it to the other side for a static hold, 30 seconds as well. Okay, last stretch, inner thigh stretch. We'll get a little bit of hamstring component with this as well, but because of our stance, it's going to shift a little bit more to the inner thigh. All you're gonna do is you're gonna take a wide enough stance where you start to feel a little bit of a stretch in through that muscle complex. We wanna be positioned to where we've got our hands at about waist level, slightly above or slightly below is fine. And then from there, keeping our legs straight at the setup. We have tension on our hands here, which is gonna increase the stretch. And then all we're going to do is we're going to shift our weight to the right, keeping that trailing leg, in this case my left leg, straight, keeping tension on the handles. Hold for about a 1 to 2 count. Bring it back up, shift it to the other side. I'm gonna go nice and controlled both directions, 6 to 10 repetitions each way, like we did with that rotational low back stretch. We're gonna hold at the end for 30 seconds, and then repeat on the opposite side there. So there you have it. 5 stretches using the TRX. They're great. If you don't have access to a TRX, you can get them here locally at Boise Fitness Equipment. You can also shop online, trxtraining.com, performbetter.com, or some places you can get them. It doesn't necessarily have to be a TRX. Suspension trainers, there's a lot of different brands for different budgets and so on and so forth. And then of course, if you have questions, you may email me, championfit@live.com. I'm Jason with Champion Fitness Training. Thanks for watching.